Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of InFocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of InFocus. Welcome back to another episode of In Good Company.
I know, so excited to be back. We have a milestone today.
Yes.
We have the most parties we have covered on In Good Company. So
buckle up. This is going to be a big one.
That's exactly right. But first, we're going to talk about a couple things that happened in the city this past week, and we're really excited about it. One of which you just absolutely must see.
Absolutely. We got to attend a Frist media preview for the new Impressionist Revolution exhibit, which is absolutely amazing. Think Monet, Matisse, Vincent van Gogh, all of the revolutionaries. We think of Impressionism today as such a classic art form. Everybody knows the still lifes, everybody knows the bright colors, but we really learned how the movement was so revolutionary for the time, and it really was not what people were doing. And
the rebels.
The term impressionist was actually used as an insult first,
yes,
which I think is so fascinating.
It was so interesting, and then they had their own exhibit to, basically debunk the rules and say, we're going against that, we're doing this. And
exactly.
It was amazing.
Loved it so much. And such a great selection. I loved how it was organized from the beginning of the movement, and then we move through it and we see how that style and how that movement has really created art going forward.
Yes, absolutely. So it was absolutely incredible. So that was a lot of fun. Then yesterday, Madeline and I attended Swan Lake. And
so amazing.
It was incredible. If you got the chance to see it, congratulations, because it was just such a wonderful production, and obviously told the story of true love and betrayal and then sacrifice, and just really has this wonderful, like these wonderful themes, these fairy tale themes, but at the same time was told with such expertise and beauty of movement. And these athletes that are on the stage just did such a beautiful job.
So much emotion as well. Such great storytellers. And I'd never seen Swan Lake on stage.
Me either.
I always knew the story growing up, but seeing a fully staged production of it was so amazing. And I was so glad that we got to go.
Yep, me too. So congratulations to the Nashville Ballet on a wonderful production. And we're looking forward to Ballet Ball this weekend.
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's going to be great. Okay,
well, let's
kick
it off.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
So we're going to start with you. You went to Conversations at Oz.
I did. So this is the 10th Conversation at Oz, keeping in mind that last year was canceled due to weather. It was unfortunate, but obviously safety first. So this year, everybody was ready for Conversations. And if you don't know anything about Conversations at Oz, it is a fundraiser for Oz Arts Nashville. And it is essentially 30 dinner parties under one roof.
Love it.
I know. It's so much fun. So, and the stories really vary from anything to the table I was at that was really storytelling. Somebody was talking about the city's evolution over the last decades. Another table was talking about AI, crypto, and the future of finance.
Oh boy.
So that one was a good one. Yeah, exactly. Another was about reinventing yourself. So it really was a broad range of topics and really interesting ones. The evening starts with a VIP reception with the table hosts and their guests and other VIPs. And then it moves from there into the main performance room, and then it's a huge reception and everybody sits down for dinner and their conversations. But before we started that, everybody in the room was then treated to a performance of excerpts from the show Goron, which is a Cuban folklore-ish piece.
Wow.
And was actually featured in the 2024 Brave New Works program at Oz. So it was beautiful. It was a wonderful way to start it. It got you really in the mood for conversations. And then, like I said, I was at Holly Kernan's table. She's the new president and CEO of NPR. And we talked about stories that needed to be told. And interestingly enough, there were a few of us in media at the table. So
that's perfect.
We were like, I'm sure some of us came away inspired with some story ideas. I know I did. And there's so much engagement and conversation that the evening just ends too quickly. You have 75 minutes to talk, and that's just never enough time.
That's incredible. I'm so glad you went to that. And I always love a good dinner party discussion. Yes. And I love the variety of conversations that were happening in that room.
That's right. It was wonderful. So
love that.
Good. If you missed your chance this year, make sure you sign up next year for Conversations at Oz.
Well, when you were there, I was at How About Dinner and a Movie for Park Center.
Yes.
which I really loved. And Park Center has been providing crucial mental health resources since 1984. And the event has really become a tradition for Nashville. It's going on 29 years now, but this year started a new tradition. We kicked off the event with cocktails in the silent auction at Anzie Blue.
Oh, wow.
Which was it was a really great time, a very fun, lively atmosphere. And then after the boot and hat donning guests perused the auction items, we went across the street to the Belcourt Theater.
Fabulous.
One of my favorite spots in Nashville. And co-chairs Anastasia Brown and Whitney Day highlighted Park Center's role in being the top housing provider for people struggling with mental health issues in Middle Tennessee. And Debbie Carroll was also honored. She is a big entertainment professional, and she heads a bunch of mental health initiatives like Music Cares and Belmont University's Center for Mental Health and Entertainment.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Hearing her speak was very insightful. And then the evening ended with the 1979 film, The Electric Horseman.
Oh, wow.
Which I had never seen, but I really loved it. And it was wonderful seeing a film with Robert Redford after he passed away last year. But it was such a blast.
Oh, good. Well, it's such a wonderful one. I tell you all the time about how I was so sad to have missed the year that they did Mrs. Smith Goes to Paris.
Yes.
Because I've seen that movie several times, and it's a wonderful film, and what a great way to raise funds for such an important organization.
Exactly.
So I'm so glad that you did that. The next night, we had a busy night. I went to the Power of the Purse Kickoff. And for people who don't know, the Power of the Purse is a longtime fundraiser for the Women's Fund under the Community Foundation. So it supports economic self-sufficiency for women, prevention of violence against women and girls, and promoting health, well-being, and talent for women and girls. And it has raised over $5.5 million.
Wow.
So it's a very substantial way to help women in the community. And for years, it was a lunch. And it's funny how many people I still talk to today who think of it as the lunch. Well, last year, Arnita Osgener and a group of women got together and said, let's reimagine this. And they did. And so it turned into this fabulous evening event. There are luxury purses and handbags, all donated for guests to bid on. Many of the organizations that benefit from the Women's Fund are placed throughout the room, so you can really talk to them and get to know what their purpose is, what they're doing. And this time, the kickoff was held near the purse department in Dillard's, which, I mean, what a perfect spot.
So fitting.
Right, exactly. So we did that. And this was really fun. They had beauty expert Michael Elder there. And he actually did a talk on the psychology behind handbags. So
tell me more about that.
So really, he was talking about how what we choose as handbags really offers power and protection. It is where we keep some of our most sacred items, but it's this thing that we carry that is who we are and kind of sends a message about who we are too. So it was wonderful. And honestly, it was a great way to kick off. And we were excited about Power of the Purse coming up.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you went to that. That sounds like a great time.
It was. And then you were at a really fun event.
The TPAC Prelude Party, which was such a picturesque celebration of the arts. This year it was at Lola's European Cafe, which I'd never been to, but it was beautifully lit with candlelight. There were plush couches for lounging, delicious charcuterie, a jazz band. It was a very transportive atmosphere. And after the cocktail hour, guests got to watch performances from the Spotlight program, 2 alumni of TPAC Spotlight program, which helps support the talent, education, and friendship of high school theater students across Tennessee. And they were so fantastic. They also performed with the jazz band and did jazzy renditions of their theater songs, which was a blast to see. And co-host Kendall Brown and Janet Ayers emphasized the important roles everybody in the room played to support the arts. And also TPAC's president and CEO, Jennifer Turner, highlighted plans for TPAC's new venue, which is expected to feature beautiful architecture and also further the organization's arts initiatives.
That's amazing. I know.
I'm very excited to see that.
So excited about it for so many reasons. But I think that's going to really, add more to the arts in Nashville.
Absolutely. So. Well, tell me about your weekend. There was a lot going on.
There was. But it was, again, a wonderful philanthropic weekend. So I started on Friday night with Wind Up, which is night 2 of a weekend-long event for the Nashville Wine Auction. And the Nashville Wine Auction obviously raises funds to fight cancer. And so that's been for cancer research. That also goes for supportive services like Gilda's Club, Hope Lodge, all things that help those who are on their cancer journey or who have family members on their cancer journey. So really just an organization that I've been involved with for over a decade and a half. And so it was a wonderful way to celebrate with them and to raise very important funds. Everybody gathered at City Winery that night. And the way that event works is there's a VIP reception upstairs where they're pouring some more exclusive wines and wines that maybe you would not have the opportunity to try ever again, even if you were to go to the wineries themselves. They're very exclusive wines. So that is a wonderful way to start. And then the main event kicks off downstairs in the performance room of City Winery. So this big expansive room, and there were just so many great wines. Aperture was there, Three Sticks. If you haven't tried these wines, they're phenomenal. Stag's Leap was there, which is more of a traditional wine that we kind of think of when we think of like the pinnacle of California wines. And the other thing I will note about this is a great event for anybody who is just starting their wine journey. It's great for everybody, but the loveliness of this is you can try so many different wines. There's no pressure. There's no snobbery. There is just you getting to try these wines and being able to talk to the people about the wines and learn something about them.
It sounds very educational.
It really is. So I've learned a lot from that, and it's just a very relaxed environment. So I really love that. And I do have to give a shout out to City Winery. That fried chicken sandwich you had that night was fantastic.
What a great pairing with wine. Right?
It really was. Yeah. I mean, we go on to Saturday.
Yes.
We actually had 3 events on Saturday that In Focus was covering. So it was a busy night.
It really was.
For us. I'll start with Pairings.
Yeah, go for
into that. So this Pairings started about 14 years ago to support the Nashville Wine Auction, and it's actually blossomed into its own robust event that is really such a crucial part of fundraising for Nashville Wine Auction. So there's the silent auction. So everybody's, going around the reception and you have more wine to taste as you're in the reception, but there's also the silent auction. And it's funny because I noticed that some people who won some of those items were not even in the room. So it is great.
That's hilarious.
This is all online, and so people could bid from anywhere, which is a wonderful thing to remember for all of our auctions. Many of them are online now. So if you can't make it to the event, please do bid for these different events. So anyway, bidding was fierce there. Then we get seated for dinner and we have the live auction. And the live auction is the event. It's the entertainment. With other entertainment peppered through. So this year's theme was solid gold.
Ooh.
And the guests were on point. It's not a costume party, but it is something that people can lean into. So there were a lot of sequins. There was a lot of gold. Fabulous. And in the middle of the auction, periodically throughout the auction, we would have solid gold dancers dancing around the room.
No way.
Yeah, that was really great.
Love that.
And they were into it. They were dancing. They were fantastic. So, just hats off to them. And then, like I said, everybody got into the theme. Everyone looked fabulous. And I have to tell you, this is the cherry on top. They raised over $1 million in the room that evening to fund the fight against cancer.
Wow.
Yes.
That is incredible.
Yes, it was amazing. So congratulations, Nashville Wine Auction. It was another great event.
That sounds like a very lively weekend.
It really was. It really was. But you had a wonderful event. You went to La Bella Notte.
I did. Yeah. La Bella Notte is for the Nashville Opera, of course, and it was the 32nd annual gala.
Wow.
And it was an especially special year because we were honoring CEO and artistic director John Humes' 30th anniversary. He has made such an impact in not only the company's history, but also the arts community in Nashville. And the theme for the evening was A Night in Seville, nodding to The Barber of Seville, which which Nashville Opera has put on this season. And there were bright orange and cerulean flowers and Spanish-style pottery dotting the space. Performances by opera singers were definitely a highlight. There was one from Chicago, one from New York. We also heard from some performing artists from the Mary Ragland Emerging Artist Program, which was absolutely amazing. And of course, honoring John was the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
I got to interview him for a February issue about 30 years with the company, what that means. And he not only has brought so much creative programming to the stage, staying true to the classics, but also bringing in some modern things like The Shining and putting that on the stage as an opera, which is fascinating. But he's brought fully staged operas into schools that are specifically designed for children to introduce them to the art form. Opera on Wheels started in the pandemic to make public performances of opera more accessible in parks and parking lots of retirement facilities. And also his accessibility initiatives help people with disabilities get to enjoy opera in a similar way to other people enjoying opera.
That's right. I think that they created a model that could be expanded into other markets that is specifically for people with autism.
Yes, people with autism. And that framework has been adopted around the country, which is so amazing.
That's incredible. I love that.
So it was a beautiful evening. It was great getting to see John and hear him speak, and the whole thing was very inspiring.
Amazing. Well, thank you for covering that.
Yes.
That sounds like that is always a great event.
It was beautiful.
And so I'm so glad that you did that. Finally, we have everyone's favorite fur ball. Yes, I went there. Supporting the Nashville Humane Association. And of course, we all know, as is in our current issue, the Nashville Humane Association is celebrating their 80th anniversary. So this evening is a wonderful tradition. It is dinner with your dog. And, you know, there were so many human companions there with their pets to enjoy a night out on the town. And they really leaned into it. So the theme was barks and bonfires.
Cute.
So plenty of flannel, plenty of little bonfire sort of esque attire, but also plenty of sequins. There were a lot of sequins in the room.
Really?
Yeah. So really great. There was this really cute dog that had a little unicorn horn on and a tutu and it was just absolutely adorable. And so the humans and their dog companions just sort of enjoyed the night, had great cocktails. And then after the reception, everyone gathered for dinner in the ballroom of the Hilton downtown. And Laura Baker, who is in our magazine, she really highlighted 80 years of NHA and just really how they've transitioned to, from, helping the humane treatment of animals to, now it's investigating bite cases and rabies prevention and, of course, helping animals find their forever homes. After she spoke, it was then time for the fashion show. And the fashion show is amazing. We had 10 celebrities there who walked the catwalk with adoptable pups from the Nashville Humane Association.
Adorable.
So it was a great way to raise awareness of not only the Nashville Humane Association and their work, but also of adoptable friends who are available at NHA.
Amazing.
Yes.
And it's not every day you can take your dog to a charity event.
It is.
I love that they give you that opportunity.
That's exactly right. No, I love that too. So it was really just a wonderful evening and just so many congratulations to NHA and their work. And we look forward to the next 80 years for them.
And definitely be sure to read the feature. Janet did a great job with that.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun to write. And Laura and Robin were just so great to work with on that. So, of course, they're on our cover. So make sure you pick up your copy. Next week is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
It's almost all things ballet ball. Mm-hmm. And so we've got the Ballet Ball Patrons Party, which is coming up this week. You have Girls Night Out for Project Redesign. And then our big coverage is going to be of ballet ball. So you're not going to want to miss it. Make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter, which, by the way, will have our Impressionism article this week. So
yes,
you
be
definitely
sure to read more about that.
Yes, you do. And you want to make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. Make sure that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you know exactly when In Good Company is coming in. And, of course, subscribe to all of our social media channels. And remember that with you, our In Focus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers.
Cheers.